The federal government has now released its draft plan for a national carbon tax. It won't affect the 5 provinces who already have a tax on carbon, and there will be some leeway for the 4 provinces who are actively developing carbon pricing plans, as long as all the provinces end up meeting minimum federal standards. The draft plan calls for all provinces and territories to have a price on carbon by next year. If not, the federal government will impose a price. It's already set that price at $10 a ton in 2018, rising to $50 a ton by 2022. That, so you know, would add nearly 12 cents a litre to the price of gasoline and boost the cost of natural gas and electricity. There would be a cap-and-trade system for major companies. The draft outlines the possible ways that Ottawa will return all monies raised from the carbon tax to the provinces, either in lump sum payments to the governments or by way of rebates to businesses or consumers.
I have one wish in the next election in Canada, the federal elections in Canada. One wish. The complete and total obliteration of the federal Liberal Party of Canada. I want them obliterated. I want them destroyed. Because, and here's what I want. I want a conservative majority, and I want the NDP as the opposition. And I want 0 Liberal MPs in Parliament. So Canada, my fellow countrymen, you going to help me make that happen? Because that would be orgasmic. That's what I want in the next election. Because the Liberal Party of Canada is despised in Parliament by both parties. They are not. There's nothing liberal about that party. They are authoritarians. They're communists. Let's be honest. I mean, Canada made a huge mistake. And it's time to correct that mistake in the next election. And I think, there needs to be a resistance started against Trudeau, because it's either his party survives or Canada survives as it is. I refuse to allow my country to die. I want the Liberals destroyed. It's part and parcel why I'm supporting. I actually joined the Conservative Party this year and voted in the leadership election because I've had it. That is why I support the Rebel, the only independent news in Canada, pretty much. It's time to fight back.
Now, only Saskatchewan has flat out said no to a carbon tax and threatened to take the federal government to court.
Where do I sign on to this lawsuit? I stand with Saskatchewan.
We'll hear from the province's environment minister in a moment, but first, here's the federal minister of the environment speaking with reporters today in Ottawa, defending the federal government's right to impose the tax on the provinces.
Get a load of this cunt.
If you consider all the provinces that supported our pan-Canadian plan on climate change, I think that brings us up to 97% of Canadians. We would like to ensure, because of fairness, for reasons of fairness, but also because it will foster innovation, that we have a price of pollution across the country. We think the provinces are best placed to do that, but we have designed a federal option.
CO2 is not a freaking pollutant. We are made of carbon, you idiot.
And that will also have an impact on reducing emissions, because this is what we know we need to be doing to ensure that we have a cleaner future for our kids and grandkids, and also to foster innovation.
This is laboring under a delusion. There is no proof that climate change actually exists. It's all climate models. There's no actual proof. This is a fucking lie they pushed on the world. That carbon dioxide is a pollutant. You've been had. people.
Well, the government of Saskatchewan is the only absolute holdout against a carbon tax and has threatened to take Ottawa to court if it has to over all of this. Scott Moe, the province's.
Once again, I stand with Saskatchewan. Take them to court.
Environment Minister, and he joins me now from Regina tonight. Mr. Moe, it's good to see you again. Thanks for taking time this evening to speak with me.
Oh, it's appreciated. Thank you, Peter.
Okay, we've got the draft plan now from the federal government today on how it wants a national carbon pricing plan adopted by all.
Yeah, whatever. Legalese crap. Okay, but I think this man summed it up perfectly.
Detail, except one detail. How much will it cost for the average family to pay the damn tax?
Continuing crisis. Xavier Montoya, head of the Mars Provisional Government, announced today that he will not implement the martial law order given 5 days ago by President Clark. So far, Earthdome has had no official response to this act of open defiance by Mars, except to say that they are considering all options.